Hey guys, back here for another quick episode today for our governance webcast. We try to do this weekly and have our special guest, Kevin Rose from EOS New York. And I think it's great to see kind of at least, some of the voting going on with the referendum. And I thought Kevin actually had an interesting note in terms of I guess his latest communications. EOS New York has proposed to replace the interim constitution on chain with the EUA. It requires 15 of 21 BPs to pass. And so it's a great way to maybe just start with that. I got a comment from Eva in one of the channels saying, what did she say exactly? She was like, no, it requires a change of constitution. So that was her comment in terms of how we get things done. So maybe that's a good starting point. So this is getting a little bit more, I think, closer. I guess this is getting a little bit more I guess I guess I wouldn't say aggressive, but just like in terms of like practically making changes and kind of maybe even just indicating how things work on the system. This is I think, this is a great topic to discuss. So maybe you can just explain like what's going on and what's the latest, I guess.
So EOS is delegated proof of stake. The stakeholders of the network delegate their stake, which is the authority to produce blocks and to maintain and upgrade the blockchain. So we also have a very excellent tool, the referendum tool, eosio.forum, which allows everyone in the network to gauge sentiment of token holders through stake-weighted vote on specific topics. Just want to check. I'm seeing a delay in my screen. Are you getting me okay?
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Okay. So in the interim constitution, it outlines that 15% token participation is required to make any changes. After walking through the game theory of referendum, the game theory of block producer voting, we published a thought piece on why we thought that threshold was irrelevant or could be made irrelevant. And preceding and following that, we have been working on a proposal called the EOS User Agreement, which we believe is a stronger foundation for us to move forward as a blockchain and build on top of, properly set expectations of what is required of people when they join this community by being an EOS token holder, whether you be a developer, hodler, investor, block producer candidate, it doesn't matter. The way things get done is 15 out of 21 block producers agree. And the way that they are empowered to agree is by the votes that they receive from token holders. So through that delegated authority, we believe that the best way forward for EOS and setting the expectations of governance properly is to move forward with the EOS User Agreement. So we have spent 8 months or more learning, listening, debating, gathering information that culminates in this proposal. We started writing it on the plane back from Seoul, and we finished it an hour ago in terms of, down to the formatting of a period. Since we proposed it on referendum about 3 weeks ago, or more maybe, we have not changed those words. The content has not changed since what we proposed on referendum. So it has been there for anyone and everyone to scrutinize, to ask questions, to provide feedback. And many people have provided great feedback. And And we hope to implement that feedback in the future, but obviously we couldn't change it from the point at which we proposed it, especially given that it received 14 to 15 million tokens in support. So we have proposed it on chain, and if 15 out of 21 block producers agree, the interim constitution will no longer be in effect.
Okay.
Not that I believe it was ever really in effect before.
Okay. So, so no, that's, so I think, yeah, I think, it makes sense. I'm sure there's probably other people, you know, probably still a tiny minority who are still kind of supporting the interim constitution. But overall, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of activity kind of overall in governance. So it's like, like, you know, we're kind of fighting within like a minority group.
The additional layers of governance that were architected prior to the launch were done so by a team that was operating under the umbrella of Block One. They were abandoned by Block One, given no access to resources, and without any plan to scale. There was no plan to communicate. There was the general proposed architecture of dispute resolution as an additional layer of governance has failed. It failed.
Yeah.
We need to move past the failure.
No, I agree with that. And so right now I see, okay, well, you know, your proposal seems to be the most popular right now. There, you know, if you look at all the referendums, you have Rex, you know, being the most popular, has about 24 million votes. There's a few others that have, you know, delete ECAF is another popular one. And then yours is, I think, fourth right now with 14.
We wrote the other one too.
Oh, okay. You're the other ones. Okay.
Well, we didn't write decaf, but with the help of a couple other block producers, we wrote Rex for All.
Okay, Rex for All. Okay.
The name Rex for All though came from EOS Authority, so shout out to them.
Okay, and then the other constitutional proposal that came out just a few weeks ago, you know, that was the community constitution. Right now, they're not. There's actually they only have 14% yes votes on that. I know.
As far as I can see, it's gained no traction, and for the traction that it has gained, it's gained an overwhelmingly negative response. And we have no obligation nor responsibility to wait around for what is seeming to be a failed proposal. We respect the work that they put in, but that's it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there doesn't seem to be anybody like with kind of significant stake that is supporting. I mean, it's just at least compared to the ones that are opposed to it. So far, that's again, when I'm looking at the EOS Authority website.
To answer Perry's comment, Block One is a private organization into which we have no insight. We have nothing but to take the word of those who are speaking on their behalf. And I love Block One. They built this amazing software that has given me the personal opportunity to change the entire course of my life. So I in no way do I mean to disrespect them when I say that they promised to deliver EOS.io best practices for governance, and they failed to do so in that timeline. And we are professionals and adults, and we're not going to sit on our hands and wait for them to come save us. I don't know what they would propose. I don't know if they plan to propose anything. The timeline in which they laid out has expired. I hope they do propose something, but I don't see the benefit in continuing to wait.
Sure. So,
if they do propose something and it is better, then we do that.
Okay.
We move to that. This is a liquid democracy. They proposed V2, yes, John, and I think that we improved upon it in the EOS user agreement.
Okay. And no one has actually proposed that officially, though, as well. So how does this work? So 15 of 21 block producers, and is it a matter of, hey, you look at the top 21 right now, you just go to them and say, do you support this? And how does that get implemented? Is there any particular software that is required of this proposal?
Okay, now I know who John is because he said the same thing that he said over and over.
Okay.
That's it. You propose something on chain, and then the BPs approve it or they don't.
Okay. Okay. So they approve. And so what code is like, is that already prepared under this proposal?
Yes. So the actual constitution is contained in the system ABI, which we forked, modified, and now that's what we're using to propose. And then you can see in the transaction, the binary stuff, which will need to be translated into English. But we included the words in our GitHub repo for anyone to like quickly glance at. But everyone, all the block producers for every proposal will need to decode what has been proposed and understand it. And we have no. I and EOS New York have no power. We are one of 21. So it will take 15. We have spent a long time doing our best to campaign on behalf of this document and these ideas. And ultimately, we think that it may pass, which is why we proposed it. If we didn't think it would pass, we wouldn't propose it. But we don't know.
All right. Yeah, that'll be interesting. That and it probably doesn't do. It just replaces the current constitution with the new EUA. Like structurally, other than that, in terms of code, there's nothing else, feature wise or functionality wise that's implemented. Is that correct? Is it pretty much replacing this?
That's it.
Okay.
It's very, very straightforward. We changed nothing else. There are additional Ricardian clauses to system actions like vote producer or the EOSIO.token system contract that would likely need modifying. But that in order to keep the proposal as simple as possible, we wanted to include no other extraneous items. It's just this. It's just this document that has been circulating in 3 languages for months.
Sure. So yeah, I think that's great. I think there's a far more support for that. I guess the EUA than anything else out there currently that's proposed in referendum. So I think as a first step of at least upgrading the interim constitution to this new agreement, I think people are generally very supportive of. So. I guess in the future, I guess if it's 15 to 21, if there needs to be changes or tweaks, that can happen as well, as long as, again, the 15 of 21 agree that there could be some improvements in it. So, but yeah, so, I do, is that how you kind of envision it going on in the next, after, like, what do you see the timeline in terms of getting this support? It seems as though
actually it's ongoing, and I'm sorry I missed part of your question because there's some stuff going on.
Okay.
There's active discussion amongst the block producers concerning the proposal right now, and Rohan of EOS Authority had a very good idea. Right now, the proposal is limited to the approval of 30 block producers, 30 block producers and block producer candidates. They wanted to open it up to more. Sure. Yeah. I think that's a nice idea. Ultimately, it's just the 15 that actually make anything happen. But seeing as this is a shift in perceived governance and possibly culture, I think that's an appropriate thing to do. So we will repropose it quickly, and allow more than 30 to comment on chain.
Oh, okay. To comment, just even comment on the chain, it's limited to.
Well, comment. I mean it just like they basically would indicate their vote as a red producer account. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting too, because you're saying 15 of 21 is generally the only thing that's required. And
yeah.
But
it literally is the only thing that's required because it's the only thing that can affect the chain. But this is so normally it'll give the top 30 because it's good to understand the sentiment of 22 through 30 because it's there's likely there's turnover. Block producers come in, they go out, right? So you want to understand like what do the top 30 think instead of the top 21. 15 out of the top 21 are the only ones that actually make the change. But right now nearly 30% of all paid nodes have indicated support of the EOS user agreement via referendum. And 6 or 7 block producers have done the same.
Okay. So this is interesting though. Okay, so what does it require to actually implement it? The software has to be upgraded with a change, right? So it's in your like a GitHub repo with the new user agreement is what every block producer that is now agreeing to this would update their software for. Then doesn't everybody have to upgrade their software to have this change implemented? And this is kind of an interesting concept overall, I think, just in terms of blockchain systems, because the block producers are the ones that are always upgrading to the latest version, and this is going to be the latest version, right, of the software. That now everybody else has to also upgrade, otherwise it's not backwards compatible, right?
No, this isn't like that. It's not going to break anything. There's not anything of the software that this is a culture shift.
Okay,
that's what this is. It's a watershed moment of a shift in culture and expectation.
So, but what if? So this is the actual replacement of that. The constitution to the EUA. But let's say it's software. So let's say it's the same thing with software too. You can imagine if you had like, let's just say Rex. It's very popular. Right.
Yeah, that's already happened 42 times.
42 times. Yes, but
over 40 times the chain has been upgraded by block producers.
But if it's very significant, then you would probably want the users to somehow understand and be able to influence, right?
Of course, that's why we have referendum.
So how does that? Because ultimately it's the block producers, and I guess we vote in the block producers, but still it's there could be significant changes in the system where like users, if it's always dependent on block producers.
Every block producer is required to make a decision for themselves whether or not they believe the decisions they're going to make are going to have them continue to keep their job after.
Okay,
it is their decision to make. We risk our own position in block production by proposing this. We risk it with every word that we write and speak and everything we do. And it is no different when it comes to the technical maintenance and system upgrades of the blockchain.
Yeah.
For no reason. People can change their votes for no reason. There is no recourse for a block producer, and there is likely never going to even be explicit reasoning as to why they do and do not produce, or are voted or not voted for, or added and removed. You don't know. You do what you think is best.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's maybe I agree with that. There is the voters do ultimately decide. It's a little bit more nuanced in terms of kind of protecting the system too, because I'm thinking of it more from a security standpoint, where hey, if block producers are able to have this much power, at least in a very short period of time. what potential risks are there if there's that kind of power within it. And so upgrading the software, you can do kind of on a soft fork or a hard fork. And a hard fork is that everyone upgrades their software. In a soft fork,
we have not yet hard forked the network. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, you've never. Oh, so everything's been done through your soft fork so far.
Yeah, okay. It's been the same chain ID. I don't know if the chain ID would change.
Okay.
I don't think so, because it's the hash of genesis.json. I don't know actually.
Well,
I want to ask our technical team.
Well, no, actually, I think every time you see an upgrade, it's actually a hard fork. Like if you see a version change, that's a hard fork in my mind, because you have to.
Well, I mean, from the perspective of the blockchain, I don't think it is, because that's part of what that's part of what EOS can do is to upgrade without hard forking the network, the blockchain.
Okay, maybe that's how you define it though. But anyways, this is more technical, but I am very curious about this, but we can kind of table this. I just thinking that, if, like Bitcoin is always a big thing because, they want to do everything with a soft fork because they want that backwards compatibility. So you don't have to really worry about it. You have the old software, it'll be compatible with the new one, regardless of what these upgrades are. And that's one of the beauties behind it. So, but if you have EOS like version 1.1 right now, and you've been running it, and then you're away for a few years, and it's going to be different, right? You're going to have to upgrade, right? The software. It won't. Not
necessarily.
No.
If you're not breaking, like, the way you arrive at consensus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It doesn't. I mean, to be honest, we're talking about stuff that's not what I do, and I would want to go to our technical team who does that for a living, and they could tell you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm like, I'm kind of have a very vague understanding of it too. So, but I am very interested in that. But let's table it. So it's kind of a little bit of off topic here. So let's kind of go back to this and see.
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah,
it is. This has been a long road of a lot of learning, and so what was just said on the BP channel is that looks like we'll do with 80. We'll open up to 80 signatures from every paid node on EOS, or at least the round number of near paid nodes, because it just fluctuates between like 79 and 88, I think is the highest I've ever seen. But even if there are 80 that are being asked, it's only the top 21 and 15 of the top 21 that are required to, actually do anything. And that's just the software. That's not my opinion.
Okay. So yeah, all right, exciting times. So when do you see this happening? What was the timeline, and was any? I don't know.
It's been a very long process. So the proposal that we just did expires in 30 days. We will we'll propose it again, maybe do 45 since we're going to do 80 nodes.
Okay. I see Eve.
Personally, I don't really see the purpose of having it be top 80 when we have on-chain voting via referendum. I think it's just, honestly, it's been, I think this person that is suggesting it. I need to go talk about this stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Hey, no, final words. Any final words? And we're gonna wrap up anyways pretty soon. So,
final words are it's on chain now. This is what DPoS is. Vote for the block producer that is doing what you want it to do. If you're voting for block producers that are doing what you want them to do, keep voting for them. If they aren't, vote for someone else. And if you're a block producer listening to this, nobody can tell you what to do. This is what this is about.
Where can we get a list of all the block producers that are saying we support EUA? I think there was a website that.
Yep.
Titans had it, wasn't it?
Yep. It's eostitan.com/heatmap.
Okay.
And that will show you a column of green for the EOS user agreement. There, those who have voted against it propose their own governance system.
All right. Okay, cool. So Marcin seems to support it. He says,
I'm not. I just, you know what, Marcin, I'm not upset. I'm very excited. I'm very anxious, but it's a very nerve-wracking thing because there's a lot of incentive for BPs to do absolutely nothing when they are sitting in a producing position, because it's like a rock the boat theory. If if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Well, we think what we have is broken, and so we are putting our job on the line to fix it. So I'm very happy that we're at this point, but it is a time. I'm also very anxious.
all right. Sounds good. No, hey, thanks a lot, Kevin. So yeah, Eve, yeah. He says pulling it back now is a bad idea. It is
pulling it back. What, Eve? Pulling it back, like adding up to 80. I was actually going to go back in and say that because we have on-chain referendum, and this is a stalling tactic. I don't understand it. I don't see why we need 80. It's the exact same words are in the referendum. If they would like we have 30. This is. I don't think we should pull the proposal. If anyone would like to vote up to, if you want to reg, produce, and vote, you can right now, and it'll show up on EOS Tight. Go ahead. Yeah, exactly. I'm right with you, Eve.
So if you're a voter, vote for the referendum. If you're a block producer, sign, I guess. Sign it.
Yeah, I mean, always vote for the referendum, because the more tokens that are backing it, the more comfortable block producers feel in making that decision, because ultimately that's how we continue to do what we do, which is the stake-weighted vote delegated to us by the token holder, the stakeholder of the network. So vote for the referendum. It's EOS user agree. The proposal on chain is EOS user agree if you're a block producer, and it expires in 30 days. So, we'll see you then.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevin. So yeah, really appreciate it. Can let you go. If anybody else wants to make final comments, if you want to make final comments, let me know. And if you're a user or a token holder out there, let us know your comments. If you're a BP, let us know your comments. Really curious to know everyone's thoughts. But yeah, no, hopefully things will get, far better than the interim constitution by far. So I think it's great. And so hopefully we get some changes here. So so I'm excited.
Thank you very much. I appreciate having me on.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, anybody else? We'll wrap up here. Just trying to keep this a lot shorter. Eve, Patrick. All right. Anyways, so yeah, just this is it. Hopefully we just kind of get together to make a change here soon. And I think that this has the most support. So I like it far better than the interim constitution. So anyways, we'll see you guys back next week, and hopefully we'll have another topic to discuss then. So all right, take care, guys. Cheers.